Hey guys, Jimmy here. Street Fighter 6 and other games are heavily discounted with instant gaming, so check it out, link is in the description. So let's watch this replay, okay? A little bit of a replay analysis on this channel, why not? Let's figure out what the differences are between platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. I'm gonna stop from time to time. So there's like a lot of a lot of donkey kick, which is interesting so far. But as long as it works, the pressure is okay so far. Right here, mistake. Could have anti-aired. Always got to keep that in mind. You're grabbed out of there. Ken didn't anti-air you properly, so you got out of it. But now, like, take a look at this. This is a classic. This is a mistake that you wouldn't see on high level for sure. Okay, like you got in right there with the jump. Okay, good. It's actually not an optimal combo. I think donkey kick would have been a better conversion, but whatever. Minor optimizations. I still make these mistakes myself. So. Okay, so what now? Right here, your opponent chose to jump, right? You're walking backwards a lot. Like, a lot. And I can't help but think that you're worried the opponent is going to jump out of the corner, right? If you're worried about that, then the answer wouldn't be to just walk back on wake up. The answer would be just to pressure the opponent. But maybe you're worried about jump out, and EXDP, right? I just feel like this is extremely weak pressure right here. Like, you're letting your opponent breathe so much. The opponent had a wrong read, he jumped, and didn't get punished. But now it gets even worse, okay? Like, take a look at this. Like, I thought at first you were going to, like, you were trying to play footsies. But you're just walking yourself out of pressure range entirely. This makes no sense in that spot. Like, why are you walking that far away? Okay, I can understand you're scared about the crouching medium kick, but if you're walking that far out of the way, then there's just nothing you can gain here, you know? Like, you're just scared to apply pressure. And that's a big mistake right here. You had the upper hand in the corner and you just gave it away because you were scared to get clipped. So that's not good. What if Ken DPs? Yeah, like, what if Ken DPs? I mean, you can always do a delayed crouching light punch, for example, in order to block the DP. Just as an example. I mean, as I said, okay, let's say you want to cover EXDP and the jump out, then walking back, I guess, solves that, but you're putting yourself at risk for a wake-up crouching medium kick there as well. So, it's not like it doesn't have any risk. And you gave up all of your pressure right there. And especially, like, the moment he neutral jumped, there was no reaction to that. But the worst part was this right here. He should have stayed closer, let the crouching medium kick whiff, and then whiff punish. That would have been the response. If you want to be defensive, that's your response on high level. Instead, Mega's response right here was, I'm gonna let my opponent walk out of the corner for no reason. Like, you need to understand the corner is an advantageous position for you as a player. And you need to take the corner. Like, don't just let the opponent walk out of it. Like, that's always a mistake. And then, funnily enough, you still get clipped here. Let's go back here. You see that? Like, this is so bad. Okay, you got here. You got out of it. Like, let's take a look at this again, okay? Okay, EXDP, you're scared. Okay, right here, you should have stopped and DP'd, for example. But instead, you just keep walking out of it. Okay, whatever. But now, this is the mistake. Right here, you actually have good spacing here because you were in range for the crouching medium kick. I would have expected right there, Ken is going to press a crouching medium kick right here. Okay? And that's exactly what happened, but you just keep walking away. And then you let him dash. You know, the dash was only an option because you gave him so much space. That's why the dash became an option, and you weren't ready to react to it because you gave him so much space, and you were like, oh wow, wait, he dashed, and then you weren't quick enough to react to crouch block. So, and now all of a sudden, you're in a bad spot. Right here, this was a big mistake. Take a look at the fireball, okay? The frame data is on screen. You were in a +11 spot right there. So, you could have punished with anything here. Crouching medium kick would have punished, for example. You didn't punish him there. Big mistake. You need to understand that close range fireballs from Ryu and Ken, they are punishable. They are not safe. This is a YOLO decision, but it could have worked, right? So, okay. This is the second time you've already done that, so you gotta keep that in mind. You can't just keep spamming that. Good anti-air. Let's see what happens here. The shimmy. Okay. You didn't grab him on wake up so far, not a single time. Keep that in mind, okay? But now, and this is something I want to see in the future. Now, what did you do there? Let's take a look at that again. You did a drive rush into a grab. This is unsafe, by the way. Technically, you could just bust out EXDP and beat you every single time if you do exactly this. But whatever, the Ken just teched. So next time, you know, okay, this guy has a habit of doing teching after blocking a drive rush attempt like that. So next time what you should be doing is hard punch if he blocks the drive rush, jab to make it a block string so it's actually safe against the XDP, and then shimmy. Because it's one thing like to have the presence of mind to tech on wake up or not to tech, right? But it's an entirely different thing if you're pressuring your opponent. Your opponent is much more likely to tech if he sees the drive rush like that. So you can use that as knowledge, and let's see if you're going to do that or not in this set. You didn't react to that mistake, but that's the first drive impact, so it's difficult to cover. I get that. Wrong response, obviously. What were you thinking right there? Oh my god, this is so sloppy. Many mistakes in this, but mostly like the general ideas of showing the opponent different states of what you want to do. There's a lot of variance, there's a lot of variety in the gameplay, which is something that I'm expecting in Platinum League. But the precision is definitely lacking, and there are like minor mistakes. They look like minor mistakes, but they're actually they have a huge impact on the match. No anti-air from the Ken, no anti-air from you. You know, classic problem outside of top level play. You fucked up your combo for drive rush. Show him the respect EXDP. That's okay. You got to be careful here because you don't have a lot of bar left. So if you start pushing your luck with the fireballs, you got to be careful. This right here, okay? Like take a look at this. This is something that I like to teach. This right here, okay? The crouching medium kick. I just realized the crouching medium kick itself is a -6. It's -6, okay? So let's see the drive rush. I don't even know the frame data on that. Is there like a block? Oh, in replays you don't actually get the frame meter, right? Which is a bit sad. But this right here probably wasn't a block stun. Yeah, but he's gonna cancel into his Jinrai kicks or drive rush, so the -6, don't even bother with it. You're not gonna get a punish on that usually. But I want to see one thing, like, can I get the frame data on that? I'd love to see if you were able to block as a block string, or like you're holding down back, right? But I'm not sure if you actually recovered from this attack or not. Because every single time you see this, you can just EXDP. If he doesn't make it into a block string, you actually get a free punish every single time. Also, keep in mind, this attack is +5, okay? So, from this spot right here, actually, maybe not. Probably well spaced, but Light Kick punishes this move right here if you're close enough. Good counter sweep. Nice shimmy. Jump and shimmy. But you didn't get enough out of it. Let me see that again. Right here, you definitely could have killed. If you had done a drive rush, you could have done a hard kick, hard punch level 2. I think that would have been good enough. That would have done a lot of damage, and the scaling wouldn't have been much because you didn't have a lot of hits beforehand. I think you could have killed there. So, but it's a tough one. I kind of understand. So this is like on the edge. You have to make a decision whether, like, how many resources to spend, and you don't have a lot of time. But you did neutral jump, so it gave you a lot of time to try to see how much life does my opponent have left. A tricky one, but I think you could have killed. So then you went for the same thing again, right? And this is a mistake. You should never go for the same thing twice, I think. But, I mean, it's a read, okay? But you just showed your opponent, hey, if you do that, you're gonna get wrecked. So your assumption should be, he's gonna cover it next time. So keep showing him different options. Nice anti-air, though. See that? Like, this is a match in Platinum League. If you're watching this and you're like in silver or gold or bronze or whatever. Actually, is there bronze? I think there's Iron League, right? It's really important to understand, in every single level, there are big mistakes made. And the mistakes are different depending on the league. This is a nice example of what you can see in Platinum League. In Platinum League, what do you see? You generally see good anti-airs. You generally see good variety. But spacing is not good in Platinum League. Okay, I can beat a Platinum League player just because they have bad spacing. I'm just gonna out-footsie them, and that's why I'm gonna win against them. Optimizations on the combos, at the moment tricky for everyone, I guess, so maybe not just a Platinum League problem. But corner pressure, for example, that was a big one, and I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that Mega did in this set right there. So, Platinum League is generally good, lots of variety in the gameplay, which is nice, but in every aspect I can find minor mistakes, and sometimes big mistakes. Okay, let's see what low platinum versus high gold has to offer here. This big mistake right there, okay? Actually, like, Mega was a little bit higher in platinum, right? How many stars, Mega, did you have in Platinum League? So I can already tell, like this donkey kick was very, very risky and immediately punished by the Chun-Li player as well. So you got to be very careful with that. 3 stars, okay. So definitely, that was not a bad throw though. I like that. This right here, classic mistake. Mistake made because of inexperience. Right here, in this moment, you actually know your jump-in attack is gonna work. Your jump-in attack will work if you do a cross-up. This should be the only thought that you should have in your mind. You should understand right there, the forward movement of Chun-Li is gonna make it so that this is gonna be a cross-up, and if you do a medium kick or a light kick, it's gonna punish. But instead, you miss it because you just committed to a hard punch early on without looking at the situation. So, classic mistake, like this unawareness during a match to make a last-second decision based on what is currently happening. Okay? And as a result, instead of getting a big punish, nothing happened. The Chun-Li player didn't punish you properly, by the way. So, another gold problem. Chun-Li could have definitely done more than that. Solar plexus meaty. Gotta love that one, though. It's not bad. Okay. Nice punish, actually. This is a nice punish. I like that. Let me actually see how the Gold League player tried to defend. Was that a shimmy attempt on purpose? Let me see what Chun-Li is doing here. So Chun-Li is holding down back and committing to a jab. Okay. Not sure what the idea would have been. Actually, we see it. Take a look at that. So it was a shimmy attempt from Joker. He tried to heart punch punish a latex attempt. Didn't happen though. Risky sweep, but distance was all right, so didn't get punished. Nice pressure, I like that. No, solar plexus media is okay. It's okay. It's not great because you're essentially begging to get parried or like EXDP'd, for example. Like what players, especially characters that have reversal, like charge characters, right? They're basically just holding down back, and the moment they see something they could potentially punish, they're just gonna flip a switch and then EX spinning bird kick, for example. So you shouldn't do something with a lot of startup. But, I mean, it worked out, and honestly, it's worth testing at least, you know? Unawareness right here, okay? Unawareness, no punish on the drive impact. Lots of jumps, not getting punished. Committing to a sweep right there. Risky. This is what I'm expecting, you know, like in high gold, low platinum. A lot of moves that are just punishable and you're just hoping for the best they're gonna work, okay? Jump-ins are not getting punished a lot. Lots of buttons whiffed, like this for example. I would die instantly against any competent player if I did that. Like, just so you see like what I'm talking about here, okay? Like how many moves were whiffed. So we have the random sweep right there. Then we have a random fierce. This move is so punishable on whiff. It's unbelievable. You got away with that. I mean, it's Gold League, that's why. Solar plexus whiffed in his face. No punish. 2 moves that are heavily punishable, not punished. Then you whiff a sweep. Counter sweep. Should have been a thing. It didn't happen. 3 in a row. Okay? Just so you know, in Master Rank, if you whiff any of these buttons, you die. Okay, that's the difference in skill level. And the EX Fireball went through. The Chun-Li player has a habit of just waking up with a jab. So what you should be doing there is, you need to do a media attack. Either throw or just medium punch or anything, really. Because the guy is just gonna keep doing that, you know? Okay, nice latex. Good jump in, actually. The sweep whiffed again. YOLOing, keep that YOLO up. This is not a punish scenario, okay? Even though you're in a +3 situation, you can't just crouching light punch into a donkey kick there. That is not a punish. The moment you block this, you can punish. So what you should be doing instead there, by the way, is press a medium punch, for example. If the opponent hits a button there, he gets clipped. Maybe he's gonna, like on high level, you would expect the Chun-Li player to do a parry, because he knows he's -3 but not punishable, so you're gonna be pressing a button, right? So maybe he'll attempt a perfect parry attempt. So instead, walk forward and grab him. That's like the thought process on high level. Not just jab donkey kick. That is very risky. Right here, this is not bad. Putting pressure on the opponent. Nice conversion as well. I really like that one. Could have done a little bit more damage, but it would have been tough, so I like that. Parry instead of anti-airing, like this is a big one, you know? So right here you need to kill. How do you kill? Drive rush anything. Or just walk forward, yeah. You could just walk forward. Okay. Not, like, you see, like, there was still a lot of like offense going on, but you can see like in Gold League, the Chun-Li player didn't anti-air. I think this didn't anti-air a single time, right? No anti-airs whatsoever, not a single time. None of the drive impacts were challenged. Buttons were whiffed a lot and didn't get challenged. So expect if you go from Platinum 1-star to 3 or 4 or even Diamond, you know, this is gonna change. Like the players are gonna punish you a lot for that. What will happen here? Okay, so this is Bronze/Silver. The Zangief is on modern controls, which is interesting. So let's see. So far, it's quite of an interesting start. The Ryu player is just jumping in. Against a competent Zangief player, you would have been dead right there, okay? This jump in would have been punished with Lariat. Didn't happen, okay? So instead, like, pressure. It's not that bad. The spacing was terrible, by the way, right here. I mean, obviously now we're getting into the lower ranks. Expect me to be a little bit more harsh when it comes to the criticism, okay? Like, this is a bad. The moment the Zangief had this distance right here, you should have closed the gap a little bit because you don't want him to jump for free. But instead, what did Ryujin do here? He actually walked backwards himself. You don't want to do that because if you do that, then you actually cannot anti-air him when he jumps. Like, take a look at the distance right here. This is the worst case. This is a distance that you should never have against Zangief, because now he can actually jump forward and you can't anti-air him at all. I mean, you could technically anti-air with hard kick, but in Bronze League I'm not expecting that. You want to be in a range, especially in this league, where you can anti-air with the crouching fierce, because it's going to make it a lot easier for you to anti-air. So the Zangief actually recognizes that and jumps. See, like right here, now you're like, oh, what do I do? How do I anti-air? Well, you simply don't. That's the answer. So anti-air didn't happen, and now the Zangief got a lot of got a lot of space covered. If you keep playing like that, eventually you're gonna end up in the corner. So this is actually a massive mistake that you're obviously not gonna be aware of in Bronze/Silver League. Very, very risky heavy donkey kick. Big whiff, nothing happened. Exactly what I'm expecting in this rank. See that? The second jump in happened again. The Zangief is like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna close the gap with the jump in. See? Too much space. And then, randomly going in, the jump in hard kick into the sweep, the classic beginner combo. Against the competent Zangief, you would have been anti-aired. Actually, a good throw right there. But yeah, the Zangief can just jump for free, essentially, because you're giving him too much space. So much chaos right now. Let's take a look at these seconds again. The Zangief jump right there. A reasonable response would have been anti-air. A not so reasonable response is drive impact. I think in this league people will drive impact a lot, right? Probably as an anti-air even, it probably works as well, but it's not gonna work out. Kind of lucky for the Zangief to do the air grab to avoid this. But yeah, finally getting grabbed there. Best anti-air at cross-up distance. Light Shoryuken. But you have to learn that. You're not gonna learn that in Bronze League. So in Bronze League, what you just want to do is maybe parry, but block for sure. Parry might even be better because you don't need to understand whether it's left or right mix-up, you know? You can avoid that with parry. See, like the distance, too much, too far away. Zangief's just gonna have an easier time closing in. Big mistake, obviously not drive impacting back, but totally expected in this rank. What about back hard kick? Way too slow, way too risky. You shouldn't be doing that. It's a very slow attack. You would have to see the jump in coming from a mile away. If you're expecting the jump in and you're not sure what to do, You can also just jump light punch, for example. Jump back light punch, for example, is not a bad option. It keeps you safe if you can't cross-cut. But back hard kick is very slow. I mean, sometimes it's gonna work, you know, but I'm just not expecting someone in Bronze League to pull that off, you know? It's just too slow. It's not gonna be a consistent option. So let's see. Too much space. The spacing is terrible. Gotta get closer and threaten a little bit with fireballs. If he jumps in, you need to crouching hard punch or Shoryuken anti-air. That should be your base gameplay. We're not seeing that here because both the Zangief and the Ryu player, they're a little bit, well, they don't know how they should be playing this. This was a lucky anti-air with the fireball, by the way. Okay. That was surely a mistake with the input, right? Let's check that again. So, by the way, in this league, keep jumping. If your opponent is not anti-airing you, keep jumping, you know? A lesson to be learned is always in Street Fighter, if you did something and it put you in a good position, and the opponent, even though there is a technically a counter to that, keep doing it, okay? Now, this is something that I feel like high-level players give bad advice on all the time. They're like, oh, if you want to get good, you have to stop jumping. That is technically true, but if you stop jumping in Bronze League, you will simply never win a match, and you're more likely to just get frustrated and give up. Keep jumping in until you meet the player that teaches you why it's a bad idea, okay? It's totally fine to make mistakes. You will make mistakes regardless of how much you're going to try early on. You're not going to start in Bronze League and listen to a pro player and then be able to adopt everything without mistakes. That's not going to happen. In fact, in my opinion, a big part of getting better is getting punished for your mistakes. Because, like, why would you stop jumping when that's 99% of how you're doing the damage, right? You're gonna stop jumping the moment it actually becomes bad in terms of, like, damage output for your opponent versus how much life you're taking through the jumping. That's how you learn. You learn with your mistakes. That was just, I think, a masked jab, right? But you have to get light DP there as a result. I always get punished for jumping. Well, then, don't jump. Against these players, if they're looking for the jump, what does that mean? It means they're not focused on the ground much. So take that as another piece of advice. Like, your opponent is opening themselves up on the ground because they're just waiting, right? Especially on low level or lower level. If you're not getting in with the jump in Gold League, let's say, 100%, if you drive rush instead, they're not going to be ready for that. So yeah, lots of jumps, lots of jump in hard kick sweep. That was a really risky solar plexus. Right here, by the way, like if you take a look at this, this is a classic Shoryuken, okay? You threw the fireball, but you actually recovered in time. But now the Zangief, but you're not doing anything about that. You're just walking backwards. Shoryuken is the right answer here. So yeah, this was a really unnecessary damage to take. Like, take a look at the timer, okay? Your opponent is almost dead. You have so much space to work with. The fireballs are not very threatening in that instance because, like, what is gonna happen? They're not taking chip damage. They have a lot of drive gauge. So the only way you can lose here is if the Zangief gets a jump in, right? That's really the only thing that could go wrong. So you need to make sure that doesn't happen. So what should you do? You should walk forward maybe and, like, press a couple of safe buttons, you know? Or just wait for him to jump. He's gonna jump. He's shown that he's gonna jump. And bam, all of a sudden you're in a bad spot because you let him jump like that. Oh my god! Right here, this is another instance where you Shoryuken, okay? This is a Shoryuken moment. Don't be threatened by the jump. This is where you Crouching Fierce or Shoryuken. But instead, this happened. This is actually hilarious. The Silver League massive read right there. Yo, Leopold on TikTok, good to see you. Let's see what round 2. Round 2 is going to be more of the same, for sure. Okay, see that? Like, in this league, I think it's really important to learn. If you're jumping in, your opponent's response is probably Drive Impact. So that's probably the only thing you should be looking at. Like, the moment you jump, you're like, okay, like you have a lot of frames to recognize that, okay? Like, if you want to know, like, how many frames you actually have, like, let's count. That's the second frame, right? Yeah, that's the second frame. Okay. So 2. Actually, we can just go for... Oh, no, I can't. So this is frame 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. You had 40 frames to react to that, okay? 40 frames is a lot of time. Obviously not easy for Bronze League play, but because you jumped in with the hard kick, it actually gives you more time because there's a concept that's called hit stop and hit stop or hit freeze. In Street Fighter 5 internally it's actually called hit freeze. If you hit your opponent, like regardless if they're blocking or getting hit, the game actually freezes for a couple of frames before it moves forward. And during that time, it actually gives you additional time to react to the Drive Impact. This is why if you jab someone while they're Drive Impacting, it's actually easier to react to the Drive Impact because you're literally slowing down time, essentially. You're giving yourself a lot more time with every single time you press a jab to see the Drive Impact and counter it, okay? So yeah, really important to learn that, I think, in this league right here. You can probably invalidate a lot of players just by jumping in and punishing the Drive Impact. And the punish for Drive Impact, in case you didn't know, is Drive Impact. Always punish Drive Impact with Drive Impact. But yeah, nobody's gonna punish properly. This was actually not a bad combo. One problem with the combo is it didn't end in level 3. Take a look at the bars right here. You don't have a lot of bars left. The opponent has a lot of bars. You want to rebuild the gauge as often as you can, especially if you have level 3. Oh, very risky staying in Zangief's face like that. But the Zangief player is definitely not ready. Also, every single time you block that, you're in a plus position, okay? Plus 24, plus 26 right now. So definitely at least sweep in that spot. And if you're, by the way, if you're in burnout, expect the opponent to do a lot of Drive Impact, okay? Like... So, what do you do here as a beginner? Neutral jumping a lot is actually not a bad solution because the opponent is very likely to do this. So you have to block a lot. In fact, in this instance, by the way, the jab wasn't even a punish. He just happened to keep pressing buttons after the jab. If after the first jab you would have just blocked, that would have worked. And now, like, take a look at this. Take a look at this. Walking backwards too aggressively. You're starting to corner yourself Like, you're not gaining anything from this situation if you keep walking backwards. You need to keep Zangief at somewhat of a safe distance where you're at least a little bit threatening. But the way you're doing it right now, you're just inviting him to come to the other corner, right? So keep that in mind. You have to, like... See, this is, once again, the worst spacing, okay? Let's take a look at that again. I went a little bit too far back, but let's take a look at that again, okay? This is terrible, as I said. And this fireball right here is also bad because you're too far away. But it gets even worse, like this fireball right here. Check this out. Why is this? This is a perfect example of why this is bad. Technically, you recovered in time to anti-air, but because of the distance, I mean, the Zangief player happened to press a button, but if the Zangief player doesn't press a button and you do a Shoryuken, the Shoryuken will actually whiff in that spot. So this is why this is a bad situation. You have to be a little bit closer. And if you can't anti-air with Shoryuken, definitely anti-air with a Crouching Fierce. Everyone can do that. But yeah, you're just aggressively walking backwards, and now you're in a position where any drive impact is going to kill you. Okay. Now, like, what can go wrong here? In this situation, okay, without knowing what's going to happen next, all I know is the only way the Zangief player is going to do damage is by doing drive impact or by jumping. So you got to cover both. Hold down back if he jumps, Crouching Fierce. If he drive impact back. What happens? He's actually walking backwards, which is interesting. So now you get a jump in. Nice. He's giving you space. Oh my god, that's the worst thing that the Zangief player could be doing here. Okay, after the drive rush, I kind of like the drive rush, like show some balls from time to time. The problem with this right here is you're a little bit too far away to convert, so there was nothing you could have done without taking a risk. But yeah, once again, it's the jump in that killed you. Okay? Like, the opponent is doing so many jump ins, and you didn't anti-air. Like, this is important to understand. You didn't anti-air your opponent a single time. Okay? So why would the opponent stop jumping? So why would you, like, the fireball here is just a bad idea. It's just a bad idea because you didn't show your opponent you're gonna punish the jump in. What's the optimal combo for drive rush crouching medium kick for Ryu? If you're close enough, you can follow up with light kick Tatsu. If you want to kill your opponent afterwards, you could crouching medium kick, then light kick, drive rush, jab, back fierce into another combo. If you're close enough, maybe you're not even close enough for the back fierce. Like, if you want to guarantee to be close up, you can drive rush, crouching medium kick, and then drive rush cancel into more. Okay, so the Zangief player didn't kill you because he doesn't know how to follow up this. He can actually kill you right there. Okay, that's ridiculous. Like, that's actually ridiculous. Did you just see that? He just did an EXDP. My bad, I went back too much again. So you did an EXDP. I want to see that frame by frame. The EXDP in this game actually has terrible properties. Damn. In previous Street Fighter games, this would never happen like that. You would not get clipped like that because you have more invincibility. But not here. Oh my god. So after that, you could have killed if you had done a different combo. Keep that in mind. Instead of sweep, crouching medium kick, drive rush. Okay? You went for the throw, didn't work. On high level, what you can do is always expect a throw to whiff. So buffer a Shoryuken just in case the neutral jump. So take a look at that. You recovered from the throw, and now you could have killed him right there if you had done a Shoryuken, for example. But this is obviously, you will only see that on high level. I understand why Bronze League players will not do that. Is medium the only air invincible DP in 6? No, they're all equally invincible. EXDP is the most invincible out of any of them. But they all end invincibility early. Nice crouching medium kick. There we go. I think this was the first time you actually press a normal attack in this range. See that, like the spacing right here. You're just keeping your spacing too much. If you're uncomfortable against this guy, jump in because he doesn't anti-air. Wow, that was lucky. That was just lucky. Okay, good block. Ah, getting clipped right there. This guy has a habit of just air throwing every time. Don't throw many fireballs here. Oh, that was unfortunate. Anti-air. That was not bad. That was not bad. I actually like that. Always expect the drive impact. Don't solo plexus against Zangief, especially. It's usually a bad idea. Jump in against him and wait for him to do the drive impact and punish. I would seriously, like just keep jumping in on this Zangief. Because he doesn't anti-air you. So yeah. So in this entire match, there was not a single anti-air. Okay? Really important to understand, if you're playing Ryu, you need to anti-air Shoryuken. Also, if you're like, if you want to learn the game, I think like classic controls is really good. But I could clearly tell if you were playing on modern controls, you would actually beat this Zangief player easily. Because every single time he jumps, you would just forward a special move, aka Shoryuken, you know? So this is where modern controls would give you a big advantage. You need to anti-air. You need to anti-air in this match. But yeah, as you can see, like, if we move down from like platinum gold to silver / bronze league, all of a sudden you see a lot of like big mistakes. The combo potential isn't optimized at all. The spacing is I really have to say this, is horrendous, right? You cannot stay that far away against Zangief as a Ryu player. And the Zangief player, on the other hand, if we try to comment on his gameplay, like never anti-aired, instead went for a drive impact or did nothing. So obviously lots of mistakes, you know? You can see that there's no real game plan. There's always, oh, I'm gonna jump in, hard kick into a sweep, on hit or on block, doesn't matter. Hope for the best gameplay, you know? Randomly drive impact from time to time. It's not gonna get punished anyways in this rank. So in this rank, there's just a lot of jump and hope for the best scenarios. There's very little strategy involved. So yeah, how do you deal with that, by the way? Like, how do you get better if you're around this rank? You just try to get some consistency in what you're doing. If the opponent doesn't anti-air your jumps, keep jumping, okay? But also understand, if your opponent gets damage, ask yourself, how do you get damage? Usually it's from a jump in, right? So now you build the baseline. You're like, okay, if he jumps, I'm gonna crouching fierce. I can do that. Like anyone can do that. If you're on classic controls, you can do Shoryuken if you're not. If you're on modern controls, right? So build it step by step. Build like a very fundamental game plan. If the opponent jumps, I'm gonna crouching fierce. If I'm jumping, I'm doing a hard kick into a sweep. You're not gonna get punished in Bronze League anyways, even if it's on block, right? If the opponent drive impacts, now that's more tricky to deal with, obviously, for a beginner, but I think you really need to learn as early as possible. The moment you see the red flash of the drive impact, you need to drive impact yourself. That should be something, like, you really need to like either block it when you see it, or if you really want to get an advantage, learn how to counter it with your own drive impact.